In this video, I will show you how to generate Gerber files from Multisim. Gerber files are basically the file used for manufacturing the board. And when you are ready with this board and everything is finished up, you don't actually send this Multisim file to the manufacturer. You have to generate Gerber files and send those files to the manufacturer. So first of all, we have to make sure that every connection on this board is made and that there is no pending connections that need to be connected. So for that, you have to uh, you can use this tool, which is connectivity check. So if you press this button from design and connectivity check, it will perform a check and verify that all the connections are complete now. So this, you will see the result of this connectivity check here, and it will show the current time, which is 9:46 and 20. So the latest connectivity check shows that there are 0 errors and 0 warnings. If there was any error, like if there was any connection left, there would have been some errors or at least some warning. So when all the routing is complete, you have to perform a DRC check. So the DRC check is here. This is actually design rule check, and we see that there are 6 errors in the DRC, and we can see these errors from here when we in the results. So they are. This is the previous connectivity check, and this is the DRC check. So there are 6 errors, and all of them are uh, about overlapping parts. So these are actually uh, these connectors that are overlapping each other slightly, and there are total of 6 errors. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. So these 6 connectors are overlapping each other slightly, and these are listed here like J3 and J2. J3 and J2 are these two connectors. Then J3 and J9, and J9 and J2. So there are 3 errors for these 3 connectors which are overlapping from here, and there are 3 errors from these connectors. Most of the times you have when there is a DRC error, you have to go through your design and remove the error, and uh, like you have actually these connectors are uh, a little wide in this design, and we know from our practice that the connectors available in the market will uh, fit in these settings. So we will just ignore these 6 errors. If there was any other error, then we would have to look at that error and decide whether we want to update this or not. So from here, we will proceed to generating the uh, Gerber files. So the next thing we are going to do is to uh, start start making the Gerber files right away. So those the procedure for that is to press the file button, then export, and then there are a few settings for generating the Gerber files. The most common settings and most easy settings are to use the fabrication and imperial units, because we have designed everything in imperial units. So uh, this is actually what we're going to do today. If you select this setting, then everything will be selected according to this setting, fabrication imperial, and you don't have to make any changes to any of these settings here. So you just have to press export button, and it will perform a DRC check once again. And from our previous experience, we know that there are 6 errors, and we're going to ignore all of these errors. If there was any other error, we would have to look at our design and change our design so as to remove those errors. So we're just going to ignore those errors today, because we know all of these errors are acceptable errors, and we won't have any problems with these in practice. So we press the ignore error button, and it is generating all the files here. Okay, so all of the Gerber files are generated. So we just press the save button here, and let's we're done with generating the Gerber files. We're just going to check them once to make sure that they are generated correctly. So we will close this project, and then we will open another project, which will be uh, we'll open the Gerber files of the same project which we have just generated. So when we generate Gerber files, it will make a new folder with the name Ultiboard exports near the same in the same folder which there was the Ultiboard project actually. And in this folder there will be a lot of these files. There are I think 10 or 11 files, and each of these files correspond to each layer in the board, and some other information which is drill locations and drill sizes and something like that. So we can view these Gerber files in Multisim, and for that you have to open this folder and select all of these files like this. So you press open here, it will take some time and it will open all the files. Yeah, so here we have the Gerber files. You cannot change anything from here. Like this is not, you cannot select these and change these. These are final fabrication files. So it is important to understand that Gerber files are physical files. These define the geometry of this design. There is no information about any copper layer or any other uh, physical property of these layers. They are just the design layers. It is just like artwork, like a picture. So we can see that there are a lot of layers, and this board is just like we were willing to design. Here is a list of the drills which we're going to have, and there are quite a lot of drill sizes, and these are actually the sizes in um, mills. So we can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 layers here, and all of these layers correspond to one layer in our PCB. So the yellow one is the board outline layer. There are actually two board outlines. And if we uncheck this layer, we cannot see the board outline. So this Gerber viewer is just to check the Gerber. You cannot edit anything from here. We just have to make sure that the board is correctly made and everything is just like we were expecting it to be. So this is actually an opportunity to finally check our board and make sure that it is just manufactured like in the same way like which we wanted to manufacture. So this is good enough, I think, and we can proceed to manufacturing. So in next video, I will show you how to place an order and how to send these files in to a manufacturer. But before that, there is another thing which I like to do for most of the vendors. That is, you have to uh, most of the vendors accept only a single file. So these are, and that file should be a zip folder of all of these files. So what we have to do is to make a zipped folder from this folder, and it will contain all of these files in it. So we just have to press right click here and then send to, and then compress zip folder. It will make a folder with the same name, and you can now this file is ready to be sent to the vendor for manufacture.